The Kidnapping. Simone now realized that John Trelawney told him everything is okay. James Lacovi said he would support him to take over the Philadelphia crime family. Simone would continue his operations. He would still work with Gambino crime family Nicholas Nicky Russo. Russo was a longtime soldier representing the Gambino crime family and was a childhood friend of Simone. When word got around to the commission that Russo was meeting with Simone, underworld observers would consider the possibility of the Gambinos working with Simone to reassure his plan. Therefore, the Gambinos had to dismiss the rumor that they were supporting Simone. September 19, 1980 would be the last days for Johnny Keys Simone's life. Sammy the Bull and his members kidnapped Johnny Keys Simone from the country club in Trenton, New Jersey. They forced him into a parked van which promptly drove away. As the van approached a toll booth, Gravano and his entourage feared that Simone would yell or make a scene to get someone's attention to liberate himself from this hostility. On the contrary, Simone chose to remain silent. Ironically, due to all the stress and bad health living the mafia lifestyle, he was suffering from a seizure. He asked Sammy the Bull Gravano to get a nitroglycerin pill from his pocket and put it in his mouth. "Don't let me die from a heart attack," Simone pleaded to Gravano. The van pulled over near a payphone booth. Gravano told Keys that the boss of the crime family were discussing what was going to happen to him. Simone stated that if they decided to whack him, could Gravano take his shoes off? The request seemed unusual, but for Simone it was not. The request was twofold. He wanted to send a message to his wife and criminal underworld that he did not die unexpectedly. Simone had an agreement with his wife that if he died from the street life, his shoes would be off his feet to know at his last moments he thought about her. The bosses informed everyone on the phone that it was time for Simone to be executed. The crime family drove him to an excluded area in the woods in New York. Before his last moments, Simone had two requests. First, his shoes to be removed, and he wants a made man to do it. These two wishes were granted. Gravano removed his shoes. As the van stopped, he was escorted out of the vehicle. As Simone lowered his head to prepare his face, Louis Melito, a made man, shot Simone 3 times in the back of his head in the middle of the woods. This was the end of Johnny Keys Simone. The aftermath. Simone's death would send shockwaves into the criminal underworld and news me reports. Here are the news footages.
6 days after Bruno's murder, there was a meeting in North Jersey involving John Stanfa, Albert Salerno, John Sindone, John Simone, Phil Testa, and Antonio Camponegro. 6 weeks later, Camponegro and his brother-in-law, Albert Salerno, were found in Brooklyn in the trunk of a car. On September 20th, John Simone was found shot to death in a vacant field on Staten Island. His car was found in Yardley, Bucks County. On October 30th, the body of John Sindone, Angelo Bruno's loan sharking chief, was found in a plastic bag behind a shopping center at 20th and Oregon in South Philadelphia. On February 20th of this year, the grand jury indictments were handed up against Phil Chicken Man Testa and 9 other alleged mob members. They were charged with racketeering, loan sharking, mail fraud, and illegal gambling. U.S. Attorney Peter Vira said at the time the indictments would seriously hurt mob activity in Philadelphia. But 10 days ago, law enforcement sources told Action News that other mob families had decided that the indicted men were expendable, and there was a chance they would exchange information if the feds would go easy on them. Therefore, the execution of Testa may have been ordered simply as a practical matter. This is Joe Sanchez, Channel 6 Action News.
Days after Bruno's death, several second-level lieutenants gathered to try to divide up the turf left behind. But it wasn't too long after that when more mob-style hits began taking their toll on the feuding factions. Antonio Camponegro and Albert Salerno were both found dead. Their bodies had been stabbed, shot, and mutilated. Another reputed mobster, John Simone, was shot dead. His car was found in Yardley, Bucks County. A month after that, the body of Frank Sindone, allegedly Bruno's loan sharking chief, was found in South Philadelphia. It was less than a month ago that law enforcement officials got in on the act with a sweeping indictment against Testa and 9 of the remaining alleged mobsters.
It could be, but the victim this time was not well known, which seems to make him an unlikely target of either a mob feud or a power play. It has to be stressed that any speculation that this was a mob killing is just speculation. All the police know for sure at this point is that 32-year-old Pietro Incerelli, father of two, is dead following an execution-style slaying. John Rollins, Channel 6 Action News in Mount Laurel.
Tornelone was also charged with conspiring to whack John Simone as a result of Leonardo's testimony regarding Trolone's role in the 1980. On May 4, 1988, he was acquitted of all charges in the Federal District Court in Manhattan, as you can see from the news archives. Frank Sandone, Antonio Bananas Caponegro, Alfred Solano, and all conspirators lost their lives in violence. The only person who managed to avoid it was John Stanfa. However, John Stanfa is now in jail and was convicted of multiple charges in 1995. John Stanfa was sentenced to life in prison. Sammy the Bull Gravano is now a businessman and podcaster. He has spoke his moments with Johnny Keys Simone. After all these years, Simone's hit is the one Sammy Gravano regrets the most, since he felt he took the true meaning and embodiment of La Cosa Nostra. Here's from his own words.
So you get this contract to kill Johnny Keys. So you actually get to know him first, right?
I don't really get to know him. I have a couple of meetings with him, and I'm not friends with him or anything like that. But I get to meet him a couple of times. The only reason I'm meeting with him is I'm going to kill him.
Right.
And I'm trying to know what he is. He's not like in the street where you could just kill somebody. He's in a war. He's got 20, 30 guys around him. They're at war. They're not looking to fight. They're looking to kill. So I just want to meet him to know who I'm hunting.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be, when we meet, two samurais. I'm young and up and coming. I'm a hit guy. He's much older. I'm told he's got 50 hits under his belt. He's smart. He's cunning. He's dangerous. And if he smells something wrong, he will fucking kill you in a split second. But first, he'll torture the shit out of you to find out what you really know. I was advised not to go to the meeting. I said, I need to know who I'm fighting. I need to look at him in the eyes. I need to be with him. I was, how the fuck am I going to kill him? He's got 30, 40 guys. I don't even know what the fuck he's about. And I had meetings with him. So when you're saying I didn't make friends with him, but I had meetings with him twice. The third meeting we had, he died.
Right. I guess you had two guys with you, Melito and D'Angelo?
Yeah, I had more than that. But
Okay.
I had a few others.
Few guys.
Yeah.
And you guys were at the Yardley Golf Club in Pennsylvania?
If that's the name. I don't remember the name.
Right. So you essentially kidnapped him?
Basically, yeah. Snatched him.
Snatched him up. You took him out to this wooded area in Staten Island. And before he was killed, he actually had some requests.
Yeah.
And what were they?
If I wasn't the guy to pull the trigger, he wanted a made man to kill him. And I'll give you something that maybe is not expecting. He knew he was a samurai. And he knew he lost the battle. And he was going to die with honor. That's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing he wanted a few things. So he wanted a made guy to be able to shoot him. He wanted to die Cosa Nostra style. He wanted me to take off his shoes. And I asked him why. And he said, my wife isn't stupid. She knows I'm in the mafia. She knows there's a war going on. I would tell her, calm down. I'm going to die without my shoes on. So don't worry about this, meaning that he's in the street, he gets killed, his shoes are still on. So he's trying to calm her down and tell her that. And now what he's doing is sending his wife a message hours, minutes before he's going to die. That if his shoes ain't on, she'll know that I was thinking of her in my last minutes. It blew my mind. This wasn't a regular story no more. This wasn't a hit story. It's not a gangster movie. This was a fucking love story here. I had so much respect for him that it's insane. He showed me a few things in the time period that we were together. He showed me the real side of Cosa Nostra. He showed me how to die like a man. I've questioned myself my whole life after that. Could I die like that? Like he died? Blew me away. I'm going to say another thing that's going to maybe blow some people away. In that 12 hours I was with him, I fell in love with him. The respect I had for him was off the charts. I wasn't happy about killing him. I felt dirty. I felt I killed the epitome of our life, which you're supposed to be. He was that.
Yeah.
So let's get further into it before I start getting a little disturbed. Every time I tell this story and think about him and see his face, it bothers me.
This concludes our story on Johnny Keys Simone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.